Hey guys, Shadefyre here, and I'm bringing you Penumbra, Black Plague, Episode 2 of the Penumbra series. This is Episode 1, obviously, and pretty much the same story with this game as the first one. Takes place directly after the first one, and was released in 2008 by Frictional as well, and then re-released on Steam in 2009. Anyhow, rather than just talking about this for a bunch on the title screen, we're gonna jump right in. Normal again.
Without this knowledge, without this foundation, you could not have the will to do what I must now ask of you. I followed my father to the Greenland wastes to uncover his secrets. You had to know how far I was willing to go. I found a disused mining shaft and took shelter from the storm. You had to know how desperate I was. I was plagued by doubts, fears, and mysteries, and aided by a madman, Red. You had to know how lonely I was. I incinerated my best friend. Red told me he wanted to die. You had to know how guilty I felt. I ventured boldly onwards, and was struck down by my own heroics. You had to know how stupid I was. All of these things, so human, so perfect, and yet still I failed to do what I must now ask of you.
And just like that, we're back in control. So, at the end of the first game, if you remember, we got clunked over the head after discovering an underground facility called the Shelter that was attached to the mine we had been trapped in. Find ourselves trapped in this room with no way out. It sounds like someone else is having a rather unpleasant time down here. So, same sort of control scheme here with the grabbing stuff, dragging the mouse around to move it, etc. Same sort of searching drawers one by one to find something useful. And our handy dandy glow stick that never runs out of power. Same deal with the notes, you know, just pause them and read them. So, we're going to need some sort of tool to open this, obviously. And since we don't have a screwdriver, we'll have to make do with whatever we have around. Though we do have this coin. Ah, but it's too thick. So, if we plop this coin into this vise that somebody handily left... Oh, gotta open it first. Somebody handily left this vice in our room that we were locked in. And now we got a flat coin. Use this to unscrew the bolts with our mind. And we are free of the first puzzle of the game. Well, looks like... It looks like somebody had an unpleasant time in that room. No going that way. And no going this way either. Some batteries, though we don't have a flashlight to put them in, so they're not much good right now. And, of course, the most useful item in any Penumbra game, a flare. I wouldn't mind some Dr. Port's Faderade. Good thing we've got this coin. So, as you can probably guess, this is not safe to walk on right here, and will collapse if you try to, dropping you into a pit of death. However, if we grab one of these beams here, toss it over the hole, it should balance our weight out enough not to make us die. Take a quick look around the corner. And we'll grab some more batteries. So rather than steam, now we are faced with freezing steam, of the kind you would have to deal with in a coolant system, or a freezer. Still no sight of our pursuers, or who had knocked us over the head. But they're definitely around. I don't really get how this thermostat works, but basically there's like a panel here, and if we take our cold drink and rub it on the panel, it drops the temperature of the thermostat. You might wonder why you'd want to do that. However, that's thermostat for the freezer is connected to this pipe right here. So we just run on past before the thermostat resets.
Chef Carlito is waiting for you in the mess hall with insert today's specials here. A happy worker is an efficient worker, and only efficient workers will be fed.
So we got here some laser tripwires and a big pile of C4. Now, you can work with the trigger interface to just permanently disable them, but you don't really have to. So you notice we've got two mentions there, or rather mentions of two different important things there. Some sort of group called Archaic, and some sort of infection. Now this guy says help me, but he doesn't ever actually get up or anything. So if we just put this in the path of the beams, we can hop on top and do that. I guess I could try to disable these. I don't actually know how this works. I mean, I guess you just want to remove all of the triggers. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too hard. Only trusted blood will get through. It's a lock with nothing but a pin-sized hole. Keep the impure out. So, clearly we've got to find our way to open this door. Nothing in this area that we could really do about it. Philip's still able to strong-arm things with one hand. Of course, the relics here are back for saving. Flare and an old cassette tape, and some more batteries for the flashlight we still don't have. And a cassette player.
My name, Elof Carpenter. Rank, elevated. Status, Code C, imprisoned. Observing the Turn-Gat movement, I predict that it will be my cell they visit next. To my knowledge, I am the last remaining member of the Elevated at this facility, and so it falls upon me to ensure that Xeno protocol is not compromised. For that reason, I record here the only way I have discovered to neutralize the vinyl. The species primary. No, please!
Well, I'm sure that would have been helpful to know if he had actually been able to say it. Though we still don't know what species he's talking about. If you look carefully, you can actually see that this room is the cell we started in, with the little vice there. And this must be whatever happened to our unfortunate neighbor. So clearly, to get past this area, we're going to need to do something about this box. None of our tools will work since, well, we don't really have any tools yet. This should do fine. Maybe cutting the power wasn't a good idea. There never seems to be anything useful in these toolboxes. Some more painkillers in case we get hurt. And a filthy old syringe. Oh. The hiding mechanic is back with the tinted vision when you actually are successfully hidden. Just keep nice and quiet, keep to ourselves. I know you guys probably want to see what's in this room with us, but if I look at it, we're gonna get caught. Also, you might have noticed that those boxes I put in front of the door didn't stop it at all from getting in. So you can see whatever it was definitely humanoid holding a flashlight. And if you heard that, he just opened the door, so now we're safe. For the moment. If I was feeling somewhat more ballsy, I could have actually just ran out of the room when he was searching these rooms and gone through the door. But I didn't want to take the chance. Oh, right. Totally forgot we're not supposed to go that way. Now that we've got the syringe and the alcohol, and I'm sure you can figure out what to do with it now, trusted blood must be used, and I'm pretty sure their chief scientist would be trusted, so... But we can't use the syringe yet. First we gotta make it nice and sterile. Now it's a clean syringe. Now we fill it with chunky old blood from this dead guy. I guess he hasn't been dead that long if he could still say help me. And put it into this little pinhole lock. Well, that doesn't seem too safe. So as you can probably tell just from what we've seen so far, the facility here, the shelter, is a much more advanced place than the mine we were in earlier. So this door will open in the event of an emergency. And what kind of emergency can we generate, I wonder? Well, there's sprinklers here, so if we can set them off, we can probably... Also a giant CD, which is useless to us right now because we can't do anything with it. But yes, if we set off the sprinklers, it'll open the door. I'm sure you guys have figured out how to set off the sprinklers already. So, our father Howard is, or was, recently in the kitchen, which is located just off of the cafeteria here. So clearly we're drawing closer to our goal. So if we take this barrel full of gasoline and give it a good sparkin, and slide it under one of these heat-sensitive sprinklers. Mr. Yart's Tasty Flakes. They're yummy. I kind of wonder how these doors are electronically locked. They don't look like doors fancy enough to be locked by an electronic system. Yeah, looks like we found the kitchen where our father's supposed to be located. But since Philip is somewhat of a kleptomaniac, let's just search around and steal everything we can use. Nothing but Tasty Flakes. Aha! What's this? These are the strange artifacts. There's a bunch of them scattered throughout the game, and they're essentially the collectibles of this game. They do unlock something if you can find all of them, which I'll try to do, but I don't know where all of them are, as I've never, found them myself. But I have found most of them, so who knows, we might find them all this time. It'd be nice to show that off. And what's this? Seems we found our father's lab, but he is nowhere to be found. Another artifact. And a computer. And finally we got our flashlight, which we're never going to use. I actually will use it since it provides better lighting in some situations, but glow stick's good for most of the time still. Now, rather than making you guys read it off that really blurry thing, I'm just gonna pull up this timeline of the mine area. So we're hearing a lot more about this Turngate. There's a Turngate tomb that they discovered, and something about a Turngate virus they released. Also, Archaic built this place called the Shelter. Now, we're almost done with this episode. I'm just gonna quickly plop in that CD we found last time. Or last time, but that we found in the last room. Before we close out this episode.
Welcome to Shelter Research Station, Greenland. Shelter is an almost entirely self-sufficient installation, built in the 70s to further serve the purposes of the Archaic Elevated Caste in their pursuit and defense of ancient knowledge. As a new member of the facility, there are some basic rules you should be aware of in order to be useful to the Archaic. Shelter provides living facilities, including a mess hall, gymnasium, and medical bay, in addition to the stipulated array of laboratories, chemical and biological, workstations, excavation equipment, and security. Please use the former at your leisure, but expect to be assigned to the latter with a moment's notice. Second, due to the nature of our work here, should you feel in any way ill, lightheaded, or otherwise mentally incapacitated, do not report to the medical facility. Fasten yourself securely to whatever solid object may be available, attempt to seal all connecting doors, and await retrieval by our trained professionals. In a worst-case scenario, be prepared to swallow your personal cyanide capsule, which will be issued after this briefing. The Archaic hates to lose its treasured staff, but it may be for the good of the operation. We know you will enjoy your work with us.
So, clearly the Archaic Elevated Caste, the full name of the organization that built this place, has been taking a few business cues from Aperture Science, with the way they consider their various staff. Anyhow, before we get into the rest of this stuff, I'm going to close off this episode, and I will see you guys next time in episode 2 of Let's Play Penumbra: Black Plague, where hopefully we will find clues to our father's current location. Shadefyre out.